coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive.
What happened? What happened? Hey guys, I am making my breakfast and it just cut out on me, the song. So maybe it was going for you guys, but I don't know. It just cut out for me. Good morning to Joan and Boomercraft. Good to see you. And we got Jessica here. Good morning, you guys. You get to watch me make breakfast. I was pretty hungry this morning. So I'm like, well, I'll just do this and it'll be what we do. Let's see. I'm thinking hash browns. Hash browns and we got eggs. Oh, I got some eggs. So there we go. This will be a good breakfast this morning. No video? Really? Because I'm seeing the video. I'm seeing everything okay. Let me... Okay, so there's that one. Is that better? Did it fix it? You guys let me know. Audio only. Well, I'm sorry about that. I was getting it okay. As long as you guys can hear me and the crackling of my sausage. What's happening for you guys? Oh, you can see now? Okay, hold on. There. Turn it back on. Let me see if I do that. There we go. Might be a little bit better for you all. I save my eggshells and I crush them down into a powder, and I use those for my for out in my little garden, I guess you could say. There we go, these are looking pretty good. I think I might make a run to Costco today too. I had a good day yesterday. It was kind of quiet. Don't need this for right now. Used up all my eggs. I'm going to the store, so I'm gonna get more eggs today. Open up these hash brownies. Get those in here. Whoa. That grease will really help that cook. There we go. You buy the 60-count eggs. I do sometimes get the big thing. They have 48 count. Do you delivery breakfast in bed? Never have. I'm not the world's best chef. I'm the first to admit that. But I have figured things out as I've gotten older. Hey, Coop, good morning. In the compost pile. I don't compost here. I have in the past. It's not intended to be a cooking show. I just wanted breakfast. I have composted in the past, but anything that I can do to keep my all of my plants doing well, I'll do that. And the eggshells help. Same thing with the coffee grounds. I keep the coffee grounds. And then I've actually got a container, and when it gets to a certain level, I'll just go and sprinkle them all in there. Let me get some more coffee. There we go. Warmer of coffee. I'll barbecue, but I'm not one of those guys who gets like really into it. My brother does. Like, he's got a smoker and all that stuff, and he's always talking about different sauces. It's just not me. That's just not me. I'm trying to think. For those of you who didn't watch, I was doing a watch party last night of the college football game. Whoo! That ended up being a blowout. It actually wasn't as bad as what the score seemed. Oregon was just making a lot of dumb mistakes. So I was watching that, and then my friend Kelly came over, and I didn't realize she was coming over, and so I had to end the stream. So it wasn't the full game, but it was enough. it was enough. I just wanted to test that out and see what it was like if I did it. And this cat is running around my house like an idiot. Making egg bake for tomorrow. That actually sounds really good. I need to do an egg bake sometime. Sometimes I do. I've done like a egg casserole before. I gotta go to the store today though. My chat last night, yeah, you know, people are getting so upset about, you know, what's going on. And I don't know if you guys watched, but Minnesota, like they were breaking into the hotels last night, trying to find ice. You can't do that, people. Like, if you're gonna threaten law enforcement, oh, you're gonna have a bad time. And it's sad because I really like Minnesota. I really like Minneapolis, but I got a feeling that city's gonna burn. And people get very upset with me, but sorry, there are things you can't do. Need an excellent recipe? Let me know. I'll always take recipes. I will always take recipes. In fact, I'm gonna throw some onions in this. There we go. I only like cooked onions. I only like them cooked. Did you guys see they redid The Joy of Painting with David Arquette? And I'm like, ugh, that's horrible. Oh yeah, the riots are absolutely funded. I mean, look at these two women in Minnesota. They were funded. They were paid by ICE Watch. What the FBI needs to do is to go in and say, okay, we are going to investigate ICE Watch because of this thing. Because, you know, they were there to disrupt. And, you know, you might not like what ICE does. And that's okay. You can protest. But you can't obstruct. You can't interfere. And that's what was happening. It's not going to end up good. VA canceled our appointment for Friday. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to disrupt stuff. It's sad. I think those businesses that were smashed last night, I think they should be able to sue the mayor for inciting all that. The mayor of Minneapolis, because he was out there stoking that. He wasn't calling for calm. He was instead choosing a side and telling ICE to get the F out of his city. And sorry, but that's, you can't, when you're doing that and you're not telling people to be peaceful and calm, you're inciting. Now, it might not be to where, like, you can be criminally charged. I don't think it meets criminal charge, but could they sue him civilly? I think so. I could see where they could say, hey, he's got liability on this. I absolutely could see that. And if I were those hotels, I would be looking to do just that. Good morning, Jeanette. Good morning, Paul. I didn't say good morning to everyone, so if I'm missing you, I apologize. I appreciate that, Joan. If it can be proven the riders are paid, and the person paying should be charged. Well, here's the thing. We know those two women were paid. We know they were paid. Without a doubt. And they were obstructing. clearly obstructing. Everything else, they broke several other laws. They did. And you can observe. You could be a legal observer and observe. But the moment you inject yourself, you're no longer an observer. You are now an active participant. And that's what those ladies were doing. And I'm sorry. That's when you're an active participant, you don't get to claim, well, we were just watching and all that stuff. No. And that's why the narrative keeps shifting on that side. And I am not a fan of authority. I think authority should be held to a very, very high standard. But the problem is that, we have to be, citizens have to be held to a standard as well. And I'm seeing a lot of my libertarian friends not holding citizens to a standard. That's why I don't, when it comes to these First Amendment auditors, I like a lot of them. But there are some I do not care for. The ones who inject themselves. It's one thing to observe and report. It's another thing to try to stoke up problems. And that's exactly what those two women were doing. The one who was like, "Oh, come at us, bro," or whatever she said. It was something like that. Exactly, Nancy. They went after the January 6th people. They threw the book at them. And I thought that was equally stupid. When January 6th was happening, me and my business partner, we were on the phone that day. And he's like, "Would you go in if you were there?" I was like, "Nope. You would not see me in there." I was like, it's vandalism and, vandalism and trespassing. 100%. But you prosecute them for vandalism and trespassing. That's not what the government did. They were trying to go after them for abuse of government or interference of government process and a couple other things. You can overcharge and, take it too far, and that's what they did. That's what we're now finding out about way more other abuses. Like one woman, she was posting about January 6th. She was not at the Capitol Mall, but she was in DC, and she was posting things in support of the January 6th protesters. Someone, a friend of hers, reported her, and the FBI put her on a watch list and was continually harassing her, like coming to her house to talk to her. Not based in anything other than someone's anonymous complaint. So she was being denied rights. That's a problem. Oh, yeah. Hold on. We have a guest who's coming in. Hold on. I gotta get the, Is he here? Okay, hold on. There we go. So hopefully our guest will be here in just a minute. I wasn't expecting a guest. He just was like, "Hey, I'm here." But I told him, whenever you want to come in, come on in. But yeah, that's the problem. And that's the thing. The Trump administration, Pam Bondi, they had better be careful not to over-prosecute in this case. Because it'll backfire. And you lose the moral high ground. I've got people are making a big deal of them wearing masks. I've got no problem with it. I think they should have either names or a identification number clearly visible front and back. That I think should happen. But again, what I was talking about the other day, there's less case law on federal agents, so it's not like local and state law enforcement. Oh yeah, did you guys see last night? I saw this on X. The Minneapolis police were told to leave. They were ordered to leave. They were out there. There were protesters, and all of a sudden you saw one supervisor going around talking to people, and as he talked to them, they'd all walk to their cars and they all drove away at the same time. That is bullshit. You know what's funny is Brandon Straka. I I've talked with him a couple times. We both wrote. We were writing for NRN at about that time, and okay. There we go. I'm gonna jump in here because why is this not going? But yeah, Brandon Straka, I've had conversations with him, not like in depth. I'm not gonna be like, oh, we're best buds or anything. I've had a little bit of a professional relationship with him, and I'll give you an interesting fact about him. He actually went to school with Jenna Ellis. But there was a person who was in on those conversations who was very much a firebrand. And, I was never going to go to the Capitol during January 6th, but other people did. And she turned informant for the FBI. And I had done some work with her where I was her photographer. And but word got around about her quickly that, hey, she like stuff that only she knew, and that was the problem. That's why they went after him, was through her. But at that point, me and some of the people I was working with, they were like, hey, stay away from her. Like, she's only trying to get people in trouble, and like she was calling people I knew, clearly like recording them and trying to goad people into saying stuff. That's the thing. Like if you're a CI, you can't get people to lie. You have to be truthful. But I've never done anything wrong. I just went to an event and took pictures. But there's people who would absolutely go after me. And I wasn't even there. Didn't do shit. And that's the thing. Like, it's one thing to... This is taking forever. Look at that. I heard that as well. And that's why they only have one son left. And I don't think that was Renee Good's kids. It sounded like it was her wife, Becca's. But see, there are things I'll do that people have a problem with me doing. But I have my limits. Oh, I think so too, Hellhound. As we've seen with a lot of these body cam incidents, most times, I will say this, most times the police end up being vindicated. Most times they do. But there's that 10%, and I fucking hate that 10% who are the problems. And getting that 10% is absolutely what my goal. Sorry, let me get all this up here. Now for the eggs. Oh, this is a little bit too hot. Oh, I'm making a mess. Yeah, always be wary about all the people who are trying to cause problems. Move that off. I'm gonna see. Okay. I'm wondering if our guest is running into the same problem I'm running into right now. It's not pulling me into the studio. Let's see. There we go. Come on. Yeah, the news coverage, it's rough. It's very rough. It's hard to watch. I admit that. But yeah, my interactions with Brendan Straka, he seems like a very, very good dude. We did rib him a little bit for being a male model. But it seems like a very nice guy, reasonable guy. I love that Dan Bongino is getting exposed. I have not been a fan of Bongino from some time. My family was. They loved Bongino. But I've talked about an incident with him that came about. Yeah, being privileged and protected. Yeah, that was bullshit. But, you know, there are people out there with shit opinions, you know, that can't defend them, and then they turn to insults. I don't worry about them. Those are the people that, you know, and that's the thing, like, I just don't change my opinions. And I've lost friends. People who, fuck Mike, he believes this. Okay, well, yeah. I'm not going to change who I am. Like, I don't have conversations, difficult conversations with people. And it's like, convince me. You know, if you believe so strongly, I believe that my opinions stand up to scrutiny. I do. Let's try this one more time. Refresh. See, I'm using my iPad. Oh, there we go. Come on. All right. Sending the link to our guest again. There we go. Let's see. Can I? Ooh, got that light right in my face. I guess I can push this back. There we go. That's a little bit better. Hey, Mama Coop. I was watching her stream last night. I was finishing up at work. I hate it when I'm at work late on a Friday. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I might play a video game later on today. Oh, here's our guest. There he is.
Whoa, can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Hey, Brad.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Can anybody else hear me? I just lost your video, but I can hear you.
Yeah, it'll come in now. I've been having some issues with it.
Oh, okay. The last time we did this, we had an audio problem and we spent like 20 to 30 minutes trying to figure it out, and you have to open it in Chrome. And then Chrome gives the permission for the audio. I don't know why that is.
Oh, no.
But I was able to find it. I was able to find it faster this time.
So hopefully everyone can.
Can people hear me?
I lost my audio.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I think it might be on my end.
I just turned my camera sideways
More
so I
here,
could read the chat because the chat was so small I couldn't read it.
It could be Bluetooth. You could be connected.
I'm losing you, Mike, and you're in and out. You guys can hear me okay, though, in the chat? I think I lost Mike. I lost Mike's mic. Oh, I guess it's my stream now. Looks like I stole the stream. That's funny.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Okay. I can see.
It sounds like the chat can hear me and see me from what I am reading. Good morning, everybody. Sorry my face is so big in the screen. I turned the screen sideways so I could read the chat, and my face got really big. I can step it back a little bit. Oh, still adjusting here. That better? Just waiting on Mike. Mike! We lost our host. Yeah, we had a bunch of storms blow through here last night. Late yesterday evening and last night, this morning, I guess. Got a lot of rain, got about an inch of rain, a little over a quarter of an inch today and an inch of rain up until midnight last night. But yeah, we're fine. At least there were no high winds. It was just rain. But you guys can still hear me okay? Can still see me okay? I think I stole Mike's stream. That's funny. Guess what I heard last night? I was working on installing this new door at the cabin, and I'll do a video of that. It should be out on Monday. But there are loons here in Tennessee. I'm familiar with the loon call, the wail of the loon or whatever. They have several different voice. They have a night voice. They're mostly a nocturnal bird. They like water. And I didn't know they come down this far south. Typically, you find them up north. They do have them in southern Alaska, not up in Fairbanks, but they have them down around Anchorage and all that, all the way down to about mid-northern states like Ohio and north. They have them. First time I'm hearing one here in Tennessee. I thought that was neat. I really like loons. I could listen to them all night. I think they're amazing. So it was pretty neat to hear one. Oh, now I'm on the big screen. Uh-oh. Can you guys still hear me okay? Because I don't hear Mike. Looks like he's trying, though. He's trying to get in. I don't hear any sound. Can you guys hear me? Somebody let me know in the stream if you can hear me or see me or both. It doesn't look like the stream, excuse me, doesn't look like the stream is moving at all. I think it's on Mike's end. Hi, Nancy, how you doing? Okay, so you can hear my loon story, so you can hear me okay. You can see me okay. Right now we have the mourning dove is in the background. You got to build a still. Yeah, I'm not against that idea. I don't know anything about it, so I'd have to learn about that. I don't know. Hi, everybody. I see you. Okay, I can hear you and see you. Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks for the feedback. Otherwise, I have no idea. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I guess Mike will join us shortly. He's I guess restreaming his side of the stream. I don't know what kind of connectivity he has out at his place. If we're not knocked out by a storm here, the connectivity is pretty good. We have a pretty fast streaming service here. So, trying to think of the name. Spectrum. Spectrum is who we have here. It's pretty much your only option out here. Oh, I saw him for a second and he disappeared. Oh, there he is. Can see you, Mike. Can you hear me?
I got you. I switched to my phone.
Now I can hear you. Okay, gotcha. So I was entertaining your crew.
So we'll see if this makes it better.
Yeah, that's better.
It all works.
I was entertaining your crew talking about loons. I heard a loon last night. I don't know why.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, I think loons are cool.
Their call is so.
Yeah, it is. They got several different ones too. But you guys were talking about lost your video there. We lost Mike. I know you guys were talking about you're back. You guys were talking about the ISIS, or not the ISIS, but the
shooting.
The shooting, yeah. Seen several different angles of that, and it's unfortunate that someone had to die, but I also feel that if these people, they're interjecting themselves and they're interfering. If, like Huff said, just stay home. I mean, why are you interfering with police business? And you can say what you want about ICE, you can agree or disagree with them, but all they're doing is following already written federal law. They didn't invent new law. It's the old law that's always been on the books, and they've been ignoring it. So now they're just enforcing it. So if you don't like the law, then later, then get them to change the law. That's the process. Not the process is you mouth off and expect nothing to happen. That might happen in states like, I don't know, California. But the rule of law in most states is you interfere, you get arrested, or you can get hurt. And in this case, the worst case scenario happened. It can happen. So I don't know what to
You
say.
know, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they built these sanctuary cities, and ICE was always going to come there. This was always going to be what happened.
Mhm. I think the sanctuary city status is also illegal because it violates federal law. You don't trump federal law. Sorry.
Yeah, the problem is there's not unless if Congress were to act, there's nothing to really. There's no teeth to stop it. You know.
Mm. Yeah, I don't understand all that. It just doesn't seem. I don't know why a city would want to isolate itself against the rest of the state who may disagree with them. Like even here in Tennessee, and I can't speak a whole lot about the dynamics of the politics in the state as much as I could Florida because I was more involved. But here it leans very far to the right, almost everywhere. Representative, the state senate, and the governor, they're all leaning right. So this is a red state. But you have blue cells in Nashville. You have blue cells in Memphis. And when you take and isolate yourself from the state, like if Nashville was to say, "Oh, we're a sanctuary city and we're going to protect our people," and you know whatever goes with being a sanctuary city, well, they're going against the rest of the state who can
Yeah.
outvote them. So they do that at their own peril. I think states should. I think I'm kind of jumping around here, but
I
all
do want to
federal
address
law.
Nemesis asked why the ICE agent got out of the vehicle filming. Because they were going to arrest her for obstruction, and he had his phone out. He was gathering evidence. That's why he stopped in the back to get her license plate. That's why he got out.
I heard him say, "Get out of the vehicle, get out of the vehicle," and they ignored it.
I want everyone to know. Any law enforcement officer telling you to get out of your vehicle is a lawful order. Doesn't
Get
matter
out
if
the
you
order.
were. It doesn't matter if they had you pulled over or not. If they say get out of your vehicle, you are now detained, and you have to go along with that detainment. And I highly recommend that you do, and just fight it in court later. If it's unlawful, let your lawyer figure that out. Don't take the law into your own hands.
Yeah, you don't have the right to sit there and go, "Why? Why?" The why is because he told you to. That's why. You get out and they want to know why. He's going to tell you why. But
Mhm.
you first must comply before he tells you why. So you get out, you let him detain you, you don't resist. If they want to cuff you, they'll cuff you. But 9 times out of 10, if you treat them with respect, they're going to treat you with respect. I can't.
I've never been arrested. I've been in cuffs many times, but I'm smart enough to know if they're gonna detain you, put you in cuffs, you okay. You don't fight, and you just be quiet,
Right.
and you sit there. And if they ask you any questions, you don't just start talking. You think about your answers. You
Mhm.
you know they'll tell you, your lawyers will tell you, don't talk to the cops. You can, to dispel, because they need reasonable articulable suspicion to hold you. You can talk in an effort to dispel that suspicion. And if they're
Mhm.
dead set on arresting you, at that point, just shut up, let them arrest you, and you'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And then you get your civil rights case, and you make some money.
And the most really I've had to deal with was maybe traffic stops, just like blatantly going through a red light at 2 a.m. I look
Mhm.
left, I look right, I see nothing. I get pulled over, right? He goes, "Oh, can you know why I pulled you over?" I was like, "Yeah, I ran that light back there." He goes, "Yeah, you don't want to be doing that." I was like, "Yes, sir." Usually if you just yes, sir, no, sir, uh, my bad, give them the information they want. Usually it's an ID, a driver's license, proof of insurance. They let you go. They'll let you
Yeah.
go. But if you
And
want to create friction and you want to be a smart ass and you want to give a smurf or roll your eyes, guess what that police officer's thinking? If I don't get him on this, I'm going to find something. When they go back to their car, they're looking to see if you have warrants. They're looking to see if there's any other outstanding reasons to hold you other than the one he's got you on right now. He's deciding this whole time if he wants to ticket you or not. So the more belligerent you are to him and the more abrasive you are to him, he's probably going to do it. And he may do it anyway.
With this woman, had she gotten out, she would have been arrested.
Mhm.
They probably would have given her a slap on the wrist. Ice Watch, the people that were paying her, would have paid all of her legal bills, and she would have walked away with maybe a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to, and I'm not a shut up and comply. It's comply when you need to. And when they detain you, yeah, you do comply with the detainment. You challenge it. You say, why am I being detained? I'd like to be on my way. But you don't try to flee.
No, you can't flee and you can't mouth off. Like, that's not
And
going to bode
you,
well.
you can't hit somebody, accident or not, whatever your intent, you can't hit someone with your vehicle.
And I'd like to ask this question. All the people that are anti-ICE right now, most of them are just anti-Trump. So it's
Yeah.
just a movement against Trump. Let's say Biden did his job and enforced federal law and the ICE agents were acting the same way under Biden. Would they have been giving them the same negative? No, they probably would just comply and shut their mouth. So I do think it's the Trump derangement syndrome thing. It's up and over and gone over their head and they're treading water and they're drowning. They just can't get off the Trump wagon, the anti-Trump wagon. I don't understand.
Rumorcraft, recall elections are only a way for political parties to make money. That's it. Recall elections rarely ever work.
And I was always midstream. I'd vote some policies this way or that way. But the further they went left, the further I went right because it was just ludicrous and made no sense. It didn't pass the common sense test. And now it's so far left off the charts. I'm just like, every time you see them, you just get this whole negative. Oh, here we go. They're going to mouth off. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. You just expect their behavior now. And it's because they've gone so far left.
And you saw with last night, they're still intent on escalating. You think this is going to be the last death? Everyone better gear up. There's going to be more. There's going to be more.
Yep, I agree. There's no win here. Everybody loses.
One side is escalating, absolutely escalating.
Yeah.
Yeah. People. Yeah. I would not want to lose my life. I did not like Biden. I would not want to give my life resisting Biden.
No, Biden didn't really stand for anything. And then Kamala's worse. What does she stand for? All she does is go against Trump, against Trump, against Trump. Is there anything that you're for? Can you tell us what policies you would employ that would make our lives better?
That's a lot of the problems with the Democrat side right now. Is everybody's just against Trump. They're not showing what they're for.
Right.
Now, you are seeing a little bit of that with Mandami. And, that's the thing. Whatever Democrat politician that actually steps forward and says, I am for this, and it's nothing to do with Trump, they're going to be successful.
They could be successful, yeah. I'm interested to see what Mamdani does. I think it's going to be a colossal fail, but I'm open-minded enough to see because he's like all the others. He wants to push all this free stuff, free transit, free bodegas, free whatever else he's trying to do. But it's not free. The taxpayers are going to pay for it. Now, the taxpayers willing to pay for it? Maybe that's a yes in New York City. I'm glad he's the governor of the whole state.
I have no problem. You want to do free healthcare? You want to do free transit? Do it at your local and state level. Don't try to push it at the federal level. I have no problem. If Mandami wants to do this, he wants to do these free grocery stores, do it. Do it. You're not going to bother me. Go do it. It's when it's at a federal level, because you're seeing here in California and in Minnesota, it's corruption. And You see
Mhm.
the same people who are all about throwing the book at all the J6 protesters don't want any of this Somali corruption to be investigated at all. Not at
Right.
all. And
Yeah.
this is state level corruption. Now, local level, much easier. When there's corruption, it's easier to root out. State, it's a little bit harder. National, it's way harder. The VA is one of the most corrupt systems. I think the VA needs to be completely done away with. Um, but and restructured completely because it's just too much corruption. But you're seeing that with these states. It's just corruption. These people are fighting for corruption.
You know what federal aid what has the federal government done that has been successful when you look at agencies? Like you said, the VA, they've totally messed it up. It should be maybe privatized. How about the post office? Are they doing that right? I'd say no.
The
I'd
only
say
thing
it's heavy management and it's mismanagement.
the only thing the government does right is the military, and the military they just throw money at problems, and they throw a lot of money at our military.
They do. Yep, they do. I've seen so much colossal waste.
Yeah, as have I.
Um,
We
like,
were logisticians. We see it the most.
yeah, like, I don't know. Let's say I'm trying to give an example. Let's say they want to build up a gate entrance. Let's say they used to have like a little pod going in the gate, and now they want to build a building with a canopy and an RV and truck access. Let's say they want to do that. This is an example. Okay. What do you think the estimated cost of that should be around? It shouldn't be $10 million, right?
Right.
But I
So
bet you it would be.
who was it? Was it Adam Carolla? I was just watching a thing, and they were talking about they wanted to build a facility. To build a building of this facility, it would cost $1.5 million. However, here in California, before anything even gets, before they even break ground, it would cost an extra $2.5 million because of all the permits, all of the impact fees, the impact studies, like all the things that they require, all this added regulation. So you're not getting a $1.5 million building, you're getting a $4 million building that is grossly overpriced.
It'll never pay for itself.
No. We're seeing a great case study in this right now here in California, high speed rail. The state back in
Oh,
2014
yeah.
voted and they put billions towards it. They have not laid one rail track yet. Now, fast forward to 2019, and this privatized company says, hey, we want to build high speed rail, not across the state, just from Las Vegas to Victorville and then eventually to Rancho Cucamonga. They're breaking ground now. And that is going to not only be done, but they're saying 2028, 2029. That's going to not only be done, but I guarantee you that is going to be a money generator in 5 years. A huge, like, had California done that one first, they would have money to pay for all the rest of it. But instead, they had this dream of you're going to take a train from LA to San Francisco. Never going to happen. You will never see that train.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Mhm.
But I think laws at the federal level, as many as you can, should be pushed down to the states. And this is why it gives you more say. You have more voting power at the state level.
Yeah.
And you have more say about which laws you agree with. Like,
As
if it's at the state level, if you don't like the way it is in Tennessee, guess what? You can move to Kentucky. You can move to Indiana. You can move to Florida. You can move to Texas. You like it better there. But if it's a national law, you're stuck. All 50 states must comply. You have nowhere to go. And
and
that's like the
with
whole Roe versus Wade thing. All he did was push it to the states. If
yeah.
you agree with that, then move to that state.
And that's a prime example because look at Kansas. They said, no, we want some abortion here. Kansas is probably as far right of a state as you can find. And they said, no, we'll accept it here. And that's the thing. Give it to the voters. You're not going to have it at the national level, the voters. I had one girl I was dating. She broke up with me because I didn't care about Roe versus Wade. And I was like, I'm I'm a man in my 40s. If I get a girl pregnant, we're having that baby. I'm gonna give that baby a great life. Like this does not affect me. So I
Mm.
for me, it's not a big thing. Uh, and I get mad at Republicans for focusing on abortion so much because it's a loser issue for them. Every time Republicans push abortion as a main issue, they lose. Whereas guns are a winning issue for Republicans.
Yeah. So the Roe versus Wade thing, this is not something that I'm big on a soapbox on either because it doesn't affect me. I'm a 59-year-old man who's had a 20-year long vasectomy. So I'm not having kids, so it's not an issue for me. Uh, doesn't affect me. Now, should I, you know, if I was married to someone who wanted to have kids and they're in their 50s, that might be a medical decision. I think it's something I could weigh in on, but
Hey,
I
Larry.
think it's something she has to weigh in on as well. I mean, but that issue is bigger than me, and it doesn't really concern me, so I don't get all amped about it. What I would do though, if I'm voting on this issue, we lost Mike. I'll just keep talking. If I'm voting on this issue, then I'm going to turn to the Bible. That's the way I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote the way the Bible sees it. And the termination of a life is wrong, and that's simple when you turn to the Bible. Question the Bible, and then that's a separate issue, I think. But that's a personal opinion of mine. And I understand there's different opinions. You know, a lot of the women say, my body, my choice. It's your body, but it's not your life in it. The life in you has a separate DNA pattern. It's a separate life. It's a separate person. You're just the host. That's how I see it. Now,
Yeah.
I can understand why a lot of women would not see it that way, but there are many women who do see it that way, and they're women.
Oh, why did that? Sorry.
So that's fine. That's just my take. Now, you can disagree with me. That's fine. I'll still love you. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Hey, for me, for a lot of stuff, I don't think it needs to be legislated nationally.
Right.
And that's my whole thing with abortion. I think each state should be able to make its decision on it.
Yes.
There are going to be some, as I call them, godless states that accept it.
Mhm. Yep.
My job as a Christian is to try to convince them of a better way.
Yeah. And you may not ever convince them.
Sure.
But that's okay. I mean, I think Charlie Kirk was a big advocate for following the Bible, and he spoke very clearly and very distinctly, and he ruffled some feathers. And I don't know why people got ruffled about it. He's just giving his opinion. You're
Mhm.
asking him for his opinion, and then when he gives it, you disagree with it. You can disagree with it, but I wouldn't get so animated and bullheaded about it and start getting violent. It's just a discussion. We're just talking here, you know?
I have no problem with people who with respectful debate at all. Never have, never will.
Not
Because
everybody's going to agree on everything.
I should be able to defend my opinions is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's not on anyone else, it's on me.
Right. Yes. So for some of your viewing audience that doesn't know that we were both logistics, I'm not familiar with the Marine Corps logistics and the capacity of a commissioned officer in that, but I was a commissioned warrant officer in the Army. It's a little bit different. It's a highly skilled technician. You typically go enlisted in, and then once you get a couple of favorable report cards and you have some experience, then you can apply for the warrant officer school and you get accepted, and you have to go through this whole thing, and then you become commissioned at W-2. Is how it works there.
Yeah.
And then you become a field grade warrant officer at W-3. So W-3 is kind of the same as a major, and a W-2 would be the same as a captain. That's kind of how it works. And as far as housing goes, sometimes a W-3 is like a major or lieutenant colonel in some bases. If they have the facilities, you can get a nicer place on the base. but that's about how they're held. So the people that are not familiar with the warrant officers, it doesn't have anything to do with warrants. It's just the name of the rank, and it has to do with a highly specialized person in that field. So I was specifically logistics. I was an automated logistics warrant officer, which means parts. I was sometimes the only at Fort Wainwright. There were two of us. Yeah, most warrant officers are flight warrant officers. I was not. I was what they call a walking warrant or a working warrant, is what I would say. So we're of the minority of the warrant officers in the Army, and we have a specialized field that we stay in. And our job then becomes more technical than tactical, if that makes sense.
As a because you were asking about the differences between Marine Corps and Army logistics, we have a saying in the Marine Corps logistics community that in the Marine Corps we've been doing so much, we've been doing everything with nothing for so long. Eventually, we'll be able to do anything with nothing for forever.
It's a good attitude.
And let me just say, I lived that, like not being able to do the basic stuff because one stupid thing we didn't have.
Yeah, when I first went in, I wanted to go airborne so bad, and I got stationed at Fort Bragg, my first duty assignment. That's the home of the 82nd Airborne Division. Of course, you can go airborne there, right? Not so fast, because the airborne school is not taught there. It's taught down in Georgia, Fort Benning. Thank you. I don't know what the new name is, but Fort Benning, Georgia, is where they used to teach the airborne school. So you had to be in an airborne slot to go to airborne school. And some people are like, well, why would you want to jump out of a perfect good airplane? Well, it's the old Army adage. It's a hoo. It's the hoo thing to do. You know, I want to go do it. Everybody wants to be Ranger Joe. Well, back when I was 18, 19 years old, I wanted to be that Ranger Joe. I wanted to jump out of a perfectly good airplane because I thought it would be cool. And then there's this little thing you get if you're in a jump pay slot and you're on jump status, you get jump pay. So that was a little incentive too.
I didn't want to do it. I went through infantry basic training, basic AIT. I went through over there at Benning, and my unit offered to put me through jump school if I wanted to stay a couple more weeks, and I'm like, nope, I'm ready to get home because I was, had just turned 18, so I was so young. I was just ready to get home. So. Had the opportunity, but I didn't. And really, in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't because I ended up doing things later on that had I had gone to jump school, maybe, hurt a knee or something, I wouldn't have been able to do the things I did later on. So hats off to those guys that like to jump, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Now, the sister school, I did go to Air Assault School.
Okay.
That's a little easier to get in. When you get stationed at Fort Campbell, if you're an E5 and above, you're pretty much going to be pushed into Air Assault School.
Yeah.
If you're a leader in the United States Army, Fort Campbell believes you are going to be in Air Assault School. So as a W-2 warrant officer, I'm like 32 years old, and I'm going to warrant officer school. I mean, I'm going off to Air Assault School with all these young kids, trying to keep up with them. It's considered the 10 toughest days in the Army. You can look it up in Air Assault School. But I actually thought it was hard. It was challenging, but it was fun too. I finished second in the class. I don't think I did too bad. That's academics and the physical parts were put together.
Yeah.
Hi, Larry. How you doing anyway? I knew it was you because of your voice.
Yeah, I enjoyed all the schools. All the schools had some difficulty to them, but I never really backed up from a school. You know how it was in the Army. The more schools you got, just the better off you were. So
Yeah.
I never turned the school down. If I could get it, I'd go to it.
Yeah. Fort Bragg had this old school. They got so tired of hearing me talk about going airborne, and they didn't have an airborne slot, and they weren't going to send me, and they weren't going to pay to send me. I was like, fine, what do you got? They got, how about this reconnaissance or commando school? I'm like, what the heck is that? They don't have it anymore. In fact, they got rid of it because it's not even DA recognized because they didn't want to if it's a DA recognized school, then they have to fund people to go to it from other bases. But because it was a local base there on Fort Bragg, I got to go as one of the only 2 COSCOM slots. Everyone else was a grunt that would go to that school. That was a tough course, but I was one of only 5 to ever graduate from COSCOM unit from that course. I'm not saying I'm Billy Badass or anything. I'm just saying I kept my head down and I got through the course. That was the toughest course I ever been through because you stay awake. The last 3 to 4 days, you don't sleep. You have to hunt your own food. There is none because they cleaned it all out. There is no food there to hunt. I mean, so at the end, they give you a rabbit, a live rabbit, or a live chicken. And the 2 of you have to kill it, prepare it, cook it, and eat it. And you have to do it pretty quickly because you're fixing to be pushed out down, So you're doing line missions, you're doing you're walking. I mean, you're acting like you're a grunt, infantry, ranger. That's what you're doing for 10 days. And for the last 3 days, you're getting no sleep and you don't eat until the last day. But I was young,
a
man.
rabbit. I've killed and skinned many a rabbit.
Yeah, you ended up with it wasn't a choice. It was rabbit, chicken, and however you were in the line, I ended up with a rabbit. And I was like, oh, rabbit, I wanted chicken. But I mean, I ate it. I mean, it was nasty, but I ate it.
Oh no, rabbit's good stuff.
It might be if you can cook it adequately.
Yeah.
We're trying to build a hasty fire and you're skinning the rabbit. It's alive. You're petting it. So you have to kill it. You have to skin it, which I had never done a rabbit, but between the 2 of us, we figured it out.
Yeah.
And then you cut it up into little chunks and put it in a canteen cup and boil it over. Cooked enough. Fire, hoping you get. Don't know that really you are. Cooking. Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't it edible.
I was just trying to get some protein. You hadn't eaten in 3 days, and then they're messing with you. Anytime they're giving a class out in the bleachers outside in the woods somewhere, and they're bringing in pizza.
Yeah, for the instructors.
And hot dogs, and they're eating in front of you. Yeah. So it's a mental game, physical, and it's mental, and you're exhausted while you're doing it.
I did a survival, being in aviation, I had to go through a survival thing, and it's a funny story. They kept us busy. They just left us alone. We could have found enough to eat, but we were, going through the woods, and they was telling us this or telling us that or whatever. And me and a friend of mine, we saw a snake. There was a big old long coach whip snake, So he grabs it. I'm unzipping my pants leg pocket, it was in flight suits, and he's putting it down in my pants leg. And the instructor comes over and he said, "What are y'all doing?" I said, "Well, we caught this snake. We're going to eat it tonight." He said, "Where are y'all from?" And the 2 of us in unison, we said, "Mississippi." He looked around at the rest of them in the group. He said, "Y'all stick with these 2. Y'all will be all right."
Yeah.
It was a good course.
Have either of you had to eat bugs?
Oh, yeah. When I was at basic training over in Benny, they woke us up one night, like 2:00 in the morning, took us down. They had these big round sand PT fields. They had the, like ball field lights, and it was thousands of beetles just all over there. And they took us down there to show us how to eat beetle legs because it was pure protein.
Well, I hadn't done that.
Oh, yeah.
When you get to Alaska, everybody has to go through Arctic training. So they wait for it to get cold enough, and you have to set up a tent with a Yukon stove and be able to survive in it. You know what people wouldn't understand about? You're in the cold while you're setting it up, but when you get in there and get the stove going, it's pretty warm. You actually have a good night's sleep because you're good and tired. But what you wouldn't think about is the mosquitoes inside the tent start to hatch, and you're inundated with mosquito bites at 40 below zero. Outside, but inside you've thawed the ground, and now the mosquitoes are coming out of the ground and they're swarming and they're biting you inside the tent.
I used to make sure when I would do field ops, make sure my Marines were staying what we call comfortably cold. And for those of you watching who don't know what that is, when you're in a cold thing, the instinct is to put all your warming layers on to stay warm. You want to be chilly, not cold, chilly, because you still want to have other warming layers that if the temperature drops way below freezing, that you can put those on. So you want to be just to where you can be comfortable, cold but comfortable.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of that, my son is up in Alaska right now, and they're at like 40 below.
Yeah.
And it was one of, I didn't see anything on the news, but he told us about there was an airman up there that had Ubered home and got home and couldn't find his keys, couldn't get in, and was going to try to tough it out outside. That airman froze to death.
Ooh.
Yeah, it doesn't take long in those kind of temperatures.
Yeah.
Where's he at? Is he at Fort Wainwright or
He's at Eielson.
Eielson Air Force Base?
Yeah, right outside of, I guess that's Wainwright. It's right there.
It's about
Which one is
20 miles out of Wainwright. Yep.
Yeah. It's over there by Fairbanks.
I had a guy worked for construction, and he had spent a lot of time in Alaska, and he was telling me this story. He had been at home for the weekend and went out to his car and found a bottle of Jack Daniels that he'd left in his trunk. So he brings it in the house and he pours himself, a little bit of glass of whiskey, just, little bit, like a shot or two. And he goes, I went and I was going to do something. I went and did something else. And he goes, it was only about 5 seconds. And I reached back and I went to grab the glass, and the top part came off. It had frozen the bottom part, and that came off. And he said, wow. I ended up talking to a doctor and saying, hey, had I not gotten distracted and did what I did and I drank that, what would have happened to me? And he said, you would have frozen from the inside out, and it's an incredibly painful death.
Ooh, I bet.
I don't want to be in those extreme temperatures. Either way, cold or hot. I'm at that age. I want to be comfortable. I want my ship to sail smooth and everything just comfortable.
Are you saying you're getting soft in your old age?
Look, I've been soft.
You like your creature comforts?
I've been soft for a long time now.
That's the Air Force. That's the Air Force we're talking about now. They got to have their creature comforts.
I went to the wrong service. I'll admit that. I should have went Air Force. My sons have been in there now, and I visited their bases, and I see all the things. Man, they got ice cream. I went to the wrong service. It should have been Air Force.
Yes. I don't know. I'm not an Air Force guy. I think they're too pillowy for me. They're just too. I don't know. I need a.
Hey, but it's like the old saying, we're in here, we're ragging each other in the different branches. But if someone came in here that's never been in the military and started to rag any of them, we'd have to stop it. No, you don't get to do that.
That's right. Yeah, you have no say.
No say in it. We get to rag each other. Of course,
I think if you're 18, you turn 18, you join a service for 18 months. Any service. It can be guard, it can be reserve.
Could be. Yeah, that might be good for our country.
I think that would help the country. I think it would help the individual person become a man, transition into a man, realize they are a man in some cases.
There is a sub branch of the Navy. I'm trying to think. What was it? Oh, yeah, the Marines. That's right. I had to, Skipper.
Been there, tried it, don't recommend.
No, it's all good stuff. I enjoyed my time in the military, and the military
I enjoyed it too.
Was really good too.
I thought I was going to like it more getting out, and I actually don't. I wish I could have went back in. I did 23 years, but I wish I had went on to Fort Carson and not been so defensive about staying in Alaska, and went on to Fort Carson and deployed with them and made my W-4, and I would have been sitting pretty. But it is what it is, and things happen for a reason.
There's no real blueprint on life. We make the best decisions we can as we go through, and it is what it is. Yeah.
You don't know what would have happened if you took the other course. You don't know.
Exactly. I did a long time. I was National Guard the whole time, so I have a little bit different outlook on it. But yeah, 33 years in the Guard, and now I mobilized and stayed mobilized for over 10 years with all the stuff that was going on. So.
Wow.
I guess I was actually, but yeah, ended up W-4.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I no complaints.
Yeah, I treated you well. Yep.
Yeah. Of course, Skipper, he was a real live officer. He was like a captain. Woohoo!
So it's funny because I was talking to someone just yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, can I use you as a reference?" I'm like, "I'm not sure why." And they were like, "Well, you were a captain." I'm like, "Yeah, Marine Corps captain." I go, "But if you want to put naval captain, then it'll look like something when people call me."
Hey,
To
that's not
verify.
necessarily a lie, you know.
I'll be like, "Well, you can call me Skipper." And they're like, "Oh my God, that's so shady," but I might do that.
Oh, yeah, I miss, you know, the chief thing, you know, the civilian side. I don't get called chief like I did in the military. That was, I kind of like
Right.
that as a warrant officer. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chief is a slang term in the Army for a warrant officer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that lifestyle, though. It was definitely a good transition.
Well, Skipper, you're still kind of associated with the military, right? You still work on the base and spend a lot of time on the base with the soldiers, right?
I'm a federal contractor. I'm on base every day, fulfilling contracts, and it's I like being around it because then I don't miss it as much. I spent a couple years completely away from it, and then I started working with a couple veterans, and I was like, oh, I do miss this. I do, there are parts of it you miss. Um,
Mhm.
I was talking with a Marine this week, and it's a Marine that is absolutely being targeted. And that was one of the major reasons I got out, because you find people in the military. I never understood that mentality where I don't like this person, so I have to make their life living hell.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening to this Marine. And
Mhm.
that was a big reason, because stuff like that affected my PTSD. And I mean, I would sit in my office and be seething. And I'm not an angry guy at all, but I would just get so angry. Um, and I always had a problem with that. Don't mess with people. Like, it's one thing if you don't like someone, let people bloom where they're planted. If you don't like them, just send them somewhere else and let them be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of people who are like, no, I'm not going to let that person go. I'm going to keep them here and I'm going to mess with them. And I'm seeing that where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And that's the downside of the military, in my opinion.
I tried to teach my sons, they both went into the military. And I told them, I said, you can learn from every person you work for. And you're going to learn one of two things, either how to be or how not to be. You know, and that just makes so much sense to me, because if you're up under
Yep.
somebody that's good and they take care of you and they, well, that's what you want to be. That's, you want to strive to be like that. But there's going to be times you're going to work for somebody that's a complete, you know what, and they're not going to be liked and all this stuff. And what you learn from them is how not to be. But and another thing I told them is, especially my youngest son, he's a major now, and he's getting into those leadership positions. I said 10% of your people are going to be worthless, and 90% of your people are going to be really good. Don't spend 90% of your time dealing with the 10%. Give them 10% and give 90% to those good people, taking care of those good people. Because I've seen some leaders that would just get wrapped up on that 10% that were worthless and spend all of that time trying to deal with them and all that kind of stuff. And I tried to turn that around on them. But yeah, somebody over here, Hellhound, said his dad was a sergeant in the Army, MP during the Korean War. Thank you for your dad's service, and I know you're proud of him. I wanted to make sure that we made a comment on that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, like with this Marine, if you're gonna say that somebody is a piece of crap and they suck, you shouldn't have to build a case. You shouldn't have to fudge any paperwork. It should be clear as day.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm seeing in this case. And I told this Marine, I said, look, it's up to you. If I were in your shoes, I would be fighting this, because the chances of them screwing up and making themselves look stupid is way bigger than you screwing up and making yourself look stupid by fighting it. Now, and I did tell that Marine, you need to go talk to a lawyer. You have a free lawyer in the military.
Yeah, go see Jag.
Use the free lawyer. Go get the free legal advice, because you'll never have it again in your life. And
Yep.
I've seen so many commands that I've been a part of, like, well, we're going to do this to this person, and then, for me, when someone was a piece of crap, I let them build the case all on their own, and it was so easy for me. I didn't have to spend any extra time. I was like, well, we're just going to document, and then we do the paperwork and send it up. And it's sadly too often I see this.
And then we would have some that were really not that good, but they could run like a deer.
Oh yeah.
They could ace that PT test, boy. That got a lot of mileage for them.
I used to, man, there was a time I could run 3 miles in 19 minutes, and I'm nowhere close to that now. I'd be add another 10 minutes on it now.
I was not an athlete, so I struggled with that, and I had to work hard just to get it, but hey, everybody's made different.
I had to work on the pull-ups. We had to do pull-ups back then. Now you can do push-ups, but I had to do pull-ups back then, and I've never maxed out my pull-ups. I got close. I got 17, and 20 is a max, and that's the most I've ever done.
That's a statement there. Pull-ups are hard to do.
They are.
Hey Larry, did you ever go through Fort Rucker for your one officer entry school?
Yeah, I did all of my stuff
Okay.
at Fort Rucker. I went through the one officer entry course there, and then stayed there on through flight school. I was there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Mother Rucker. Love that.
Another Rucker. That's it.
I don't know. Have they changed the name back on Rucker yet, or is it still Novacell?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they'd change all of them back.
They got a nice fan camp there, though. It's on the base, but it's kind of in a
Lake
very rural area of the base.
Yeah, it's out at Lake
And-
Tamaco. I've never stayed there, but
Yeah, it's on the lake. We
yeah,
stayed there a couple days there. Yep. Definitely, it's a halfway point going to Florida if you don't want to do it all in one day.
You guys were just down in Florida, right? You went down in the southern part of Florida and camping. You look pretty.
Those videos were actually from last year.
Oh, okay.
That's what some people don't realize. She's going back and creating videos from old video because they
Okay.
were hard edits because they either were loud or they had music in the background, and you got to strip that. It requires a lot more work.
Yeah,
So that's what she's putting out. So that was last year, not this year.
we haven't been camping in a while. I tell you, I'm looking at going up into Tennessee, up to Nashville. We've never really experienced Nashville. We're thinking about going up there somewhere. Wireless doorbell. Sorry.
Nashville's nice, but I don't know if that's the best camping experience. If you wanted to go all the way up to Fort Campbell, though, they have a campground there, and they've done lots of improvements. It's a lot bigger, and you can get some sites right on the stream there.
I'm going camping in Tennessee.
Are you? What are you going to do?
Where at?
Yeah, I'm going to Camp Granger. Just gonna
Come
pitch
on,
a tent right there.
come on, let's go.
Yeah.
The little Arnold Air Force Base, like 17 miles from here, has a little FAM camp, and it's right on the water. It's on Woods Reservoir. They have a boat ramp and a boat slip right in the campground, and it's nice because it's not an overly done up fancy campground. It's rural. It's got old trees. They got the poison ivy all through it. I mean, it's old school camping.
I haven't gone to that website in quite a while, the militarycampgrounds.com or whatever it is. Very good resource for retired military if you're into camping.
And usually those camps are ran by MWR. That's Morale, Welfare, Recreation. So if you go to the MWR websites, you can find all those. The Air Force calls them FAM camps. I'll call them FAM camps, but the Army just calls them campgrounds. But if you say FAM camp, they know what it is.
Yeah.
But I like using those FAM camps because you're going to save money. They cost way less. They usually have daily, weekly, and monthly rentals. That if you can camp monthly, you're saving a bunch of money because you're going to get a better rate. And you get to stay in one place and see more stuff if you do that. I'm kind of getting off on one of my areas that I like to talk about, camping. Camping and military. Those are my two things.
Which I do want to remind everyone to subscribe to Brett's channel, Shoreline to Driveway.
Thank you. For
Let
the
me
plug.
jot that down. Say that again.
Shoreline to Driveway.
Uh-oh. The dog heard it.
It excited the dog.
What happens is I bump my desk when I'm doing stuff, and that's what, both times that's what happened. I bump the desk, so they think somebody's at the door.
That's how mine is. I was dealing with mine barking earlier. She heard something, thought someone was outside.
We got some cold weather coming, but I was outside a few minutes ago, and I hope it hurries up because I'm almost to the point I'm gonna have to cut grass. It's turning green again because it's been so warm. It's starting to grow, and I'm like, man, that cold weather needs to kill this grass before I have to break the lawnmower out.
Yeah, it's been warm here, and there's a project I've been wanting to do that involved taking a door off the hinges, and it was going to be off for a while because I had to do some shimming. And so I picked, I think it was Wednesday. I think it was the warmest day of the week. It was going to hit 70. I'm like, all right, that's my door day.
Did you get rid of the squirrel?
I don't think so. I don't hear him or see him nearly as much.
Okay.
But maybe once a week I'll hear him trample on the roof, and I'll go out there and I'll bang on the gutter with a piece of PVC pipe or something to scare him off. But I don't hear him in the chimney. I don't think, but I can't be certain.
We had years ago. We had a cat. And well, I've got a cat now that's outside, but my daughter had gotten a kitten, and we went through getting the front claws off and all that. And we had an inside cat, which I'll never do again. But while we had the cat, there was a day there that a bird, evidently some birds had gotten in the chimney and done a nest, and one of the birds fell. One of the young ones fell, and that cat saw it and pounced. Which was fine. I don't care about that, but it was funny because for months after that cat would sit there and just stare at that fireplace, just waiting for another one. It was like something from heaven. And that cat would sit there for hours just staring at that fireplace, I guess, hoping that another one would fall. So maybe the squirrel will fall down in and you can get it and learn how to skin a squirrel.
Somebody's saying check out Pelican Roost RV Park, Naval Air Station Mayport, right on the Navy. Have I not been to that one? Can't remember.
Not sure.
I think Madam Mayor released a video where we're out there on the Naval Air Station. Oh, that was Jacksonville. Mayport's in Jacksonville. That's why I got them a little mixed up. I may not have been to Mayport then because I've only been to one Jacksonville base. And that was pretty nice too. We enjoyed that.
We used to go to the one over here in Florida, not far from us, over there where the museum is, at Pensacola Naval Air Station. They've got two parts. They got one on the base and one just off the base. And we like the one off the base. But I don't know. They went crazy on their rates. They went way up on their rates.
They did. I was going to say a lot of people talk about those because I'm in a lot of those groups for military campgrounds, and they love them, but they never say what the price is. And I think they're around $55 to $65 a night, and that to me is too much for camping. You shouldn't be having to pay that much to camp. You're camping.
Yeah.
You're bringing everything with you.
That's one of the perks that we have as retired military. And we used to go over there when we first started. It was like $300 a month. You could get the whole month, $300.
Good price. Yeah.
And we did that for several years, and then all of a sudden it went to like $600. Now I think it's up even more than that. And their argument was that they checked the local stuff, and it's still cheaper than the local stuff. But that
may be true, but
it is true, but that's not the point. The point is
that's not the point.
That's supposed to be a little perk for us as retired military to be able to go and stay at these places really cheap, But Yeah, it is what it is. They still
Yep.
stay full, so
Have you been to that one down in Key West, Sigsbee?
have not. No.
That's a good place if you can get in. So the trick to that one is you got to call 6 months out because I think that's when they open up the bids, and it's competitive. So when they open, whatever time that is, if it's 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. local time there, 6 months out. So on the 1st of that month, that next month that starts, you have to call the office when they open. And within 10 minutes, you got to be the first 10 minutes. So you're not going to get a site for that whole month. It'll be
Wow.
booked. That's how hard it is to get into Key West.
Mm.
Yeah, but that's what you got to do. You got to figure out what time they open. It's all on their website. And then you got to be on the phone. And if there's 2 of you that can call, both of you call. Because if the line's busy, it'll go to voicemail. They may not call you back because when they hang up, they take the next call. So you're kind of getting skipped.
There is the Coast Guard runs a cabin, Brett, and I know you were talking about maybe coming out here. It's up
Mhm.
at Lake Tahoe, and I've always wanted to go up and check it out.
That'd
'Cause,
be cool.
yeah, that's a beautiful area.
It is. I've driven through there once.
See, I never have. I've just seen people who have been up there and who've told me, and I've got friends nearby in Reno, and they're like, "Oh, you need to come up here."
It's nice. It looks very expensive. I didn't price anything. I was just driving through, but I was like, oh my goodness, this looks very hoity-toity, I like to say. But yeah, it was beautiful. No doubt. I won't take anything away from that.
You guys been keeping up with what's going on over in Iran?
Yes,
They're just about to take their country back. I think it's pretty cool.
yes.
Oh.
It's. I saw that they set fire to a mosque, and they are
Ooh.
done with the. I think they're done with the Islamicism, and
I think they've been done with it for a long time. They've tried this before, but I think they got some steam this time. I believe they're going to be successful. In
I hadn't heard that. Interesting.
oh, they've been protesting for about a week, and it got a little bit violent, but then in a lot of key areas, the police started taking the sides of the protesters. So you're seeing people in the higher level of government. They're looking to get out.
Yeah, yeah, they're flipping. If you look at the pictures from back in the '70s, Iran was a nice place, man. They, the ladies had their bikinis on out on the beach, and it was kind of normal. But in '79, the Islamic regime took over and forced Islam on the country, and now I'd like to see them be successful. Yeah.
It'll be interesting if they invite the Shah back, because the Shah passed away, but his son is alive.
I think they will. I think they will. Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring out. Brett, you said you haven't really seen anything on it. The mainstream media is they cover what they want to cover,
That's it. Yeah.
But I was looking at the deal with up in Minnesota, this YouTuber and how he really shed light on that and everything. There were some news outlets, some mainstream news outlets that were covering that for months, but it just really didn't get seen. It didn't get covered. They were just a small news outlet there in Minnesota and all that stuff. People didn't see it. But this YouTuber, he goes and lots of people see it. And it just points out how the news is really being changed. A lot of people are getting their information and news from just independent sources on YouTube or wherever online. They're not watching TV.
That's smart.
It wasn't that it wasn't getting covered, just the people that were covering it didn't have an audience. This young YouTuber, he goes and he has an audience, and when he covered it, it went, nationwide. So it's amazing how the dynamics of how people are getting their information is changing now. It's not.
Yeah.
People are turning away from mainstream media and they're getting it from YouTube. They're starting to listen to Skipper.
It's all your fault, Skipper.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
We lost the audio there, Skipper. We don't hear you.
That's why I always try to, because I understand that doing this, having a voice, that people listen to is a powerful thing. And that's why, like, I'm right now trying to get April Hathaway. I don't know if she's in the thing here. She's a veteran. She got screwed over by the VA home loan, which is shocking. I'm helping her try to get her voice. So I'm trying to put her onto other shows. She's been on Veteran Nation Live with me, TC, and Kahanu. I'm trying to get her on these other shows and get her stuff out there because the media, they're not interested in her story. And, you know, the more we can tell the world about what's happening, the better we're going to have a chance of fixing it.
Yeah, that's true. I try to keep my channel kind of just entertainment. I don't get into things. I'll do some satire every now and then if I think something's really stupid. You know, I did a little thing about not getting shot by ICE, you know, because I stayed home and mind my own business. That's the reason I haven't been shot by ICE, you know. So I'll do a little satire every now and then. But Santi and I, we really try to keep our channel kind of out of the politics. But
no ice here. No ice.
Yeah, no ice. It's amazing how the general populace is moving away from mainstream media and starting to get more and more of their information from small time people like us.
I did get a Rockets hoodie for Christmas, so that's my team. I will talk about my Toledo Rockets every day that I can.
Now, who are the Toledo Rockets? I'm not familiar with them.
Not familiar either.
It's a
hockey team.
What's that?
What kind of team is it?
It's a university, so football, basketball, baseball. Okay. It's in the Mid-American Conference, and
I've never heard of that conference either. Sorry,
it's not SEC. Never heard of it.
Well, yeah, Mid-American Conference. Okay.
You've probably heard of some teams like Ball State, Akron, teams like that would have a little bit more name recognition. But I used to work for the Toledo Rockets football team back when Gary Pinkel, who coached Missouri for a number of years and took them to where they were number one in the nation for the first time in like 60 years. He was Toledo's coach when I was there. And Toledo, while it's a small school, it's also one of the winningest schools. It has the second longest win streak in all of college football, 35 games. So, you know, it's a good school, especially for football. They're decent in basketball. The Mid-American Conference is tough in basketball. But, I get a lot of people who I talk college football and they're like, oh, you're this fan or you're a fan of this. And no, this is 100% my team.
Cool. I kind of pull for University of Southern Mississippi, which is not in one of the, they're not one of the powerhouse schools, and they're in a small
conference.
Brett Favre
in Tennessee. Yeah, Brett Favre. That's about the only highlight of USM. Brett Favre. They did have a punter. They had a famous punter that come out of there years ago. I can't remember his name.
Isn't that Pat McAfee?
No, it wasn't Pat McAfee.
Because he went to a smaller school.
I'd have to research it a little bit. I would recognize his name if I heard it. Y'all would too. But yeah, I'm not into the big SEC stuff. I mean,
what?
I guess.
Did I hear that right?
It's okay. If I was going to pull for one of the SEC, I used to be an Ole Miss fan. I'll just go ahead and throw this out there. I used to be an Ole Miss fan.
I would think so. That's all you got, right?
Ole Miss. Well, you got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and
you're not far from LSU either. So
I'm not. Well, I hate LSU.
Yeah.
But anyway, but they did away with all their traditions, and I know I'm going to open a can of worms here. Yeah, Paul got it. Ray Guy, that's the guy that was the punter. The kicker. But anyhow, used to, there would be a sea of Confederate flags in the stands. That was their flag, and then they played Dixie for the band played Dixie. It was all around Southern roots. It wasn't racist by any means.
Yeah.
But powers that be slowly did away with all their stuff. You can't play Dixie. You can't have a Confederate flag in the stands. You can't. They had the Colonel Rev guy. They did away with him. We can't have that. They just cowered to the small groups that were offended and did away with all their traditions. And when they did that, I just kind of walked away from it. I mean, so now they don't know. They say they're the Black Bears. They say they're still the Rebels. Now they're doing some fin shark sign. I mean, they've just lost their identity. So I'm done with it. But and I sent my money to University of Southern. My kids went there, and I sent my money there. So
What's wrong with Ole Miss? They beat Georgia. They're a fan of mine. I was rooting for them.
now I was pulling for them a couple of nights ago when they played. They were almost made it to the.
I was hoping they beat Miami. I didn't know if they would. I was hoping they would, and I don't think Miami has a snowball's chance. And
I don't think they do either. I think the game of the season was Ole Miss Miami. That was a good game.
It was.
I kept up with the first half, and then again, I told you I'm old. My ship goes smooth. I went to bed early like I always do.
I'm not a big Indiana fan, nor am I a big Miami fan. I am kind of a Carson Beck fan, but I don't like Georgia either. So, I'll watch it if it's close, but if the game starts to pull away, I'll turn it off because now it's not fun anymore. It's not competitive.
I was pulling for Ole Miss mainly because of the way their coach did it. He bailed on them.
But guess who's getting ready to play here in about 2 minutes?
Who?
Tennessee Vols basketball against Florida in Gainesville. That should be good.
Go ahead, Skipper. I cut you off. Sorry, man.
Oh, no. I was going to shift the conversation a little bit because you were talking about moving away from like the old traditions. I saw an article this week that I was trolling a little bit on. The Oakland Athletics are moving to Las Vegas. And Las Vegas got denied a patent on the name the Las Vegas Athletics, also the Athletics of Las Vegas. So they're questioning what, all these people were like, getting in on this debate over the name. And I said, okay, Las Vegas Redskins it is.
There you go. I grew up a Redskins fan, so I have a whole issue with the whole Commanders thing, but they're not going to go back. They've rebranded that whole thing, so I understand why they won't go back, but I still miss the Redskins.
I think that they, should have went the other way and just been like, you know what, we're just going to be the Savages and go with that.
Yeah. They should have doubled down.
We're going to be the Redskin Savages.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the military bases. They're renaming all the military bases. If they had not have brought that up, I didn't even know who these bases were named after. I just knew the name of the base.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, we got to change it because that was after a Confederate general or,
You know how much money that cost them to do that? You know how much money it cost the post office to change all those addresses? Yeah. Millions of dollars were wasted on changing a name.
Not to mention all the small businesses around the bases.
All the small businesses.
The title of their stuff based on the name of the base.
All the signs had to be redone. I mean, all the cost was millions and millions and millions of dollars at each location.
Yeah.
Wasted. It might even be more than millions, but it was at least millions.
Crazy.
Ridiculous.
We had the similar thing happen here in the state. Our Mississippi flag had basically the Confederate symbol in a corner, and then it had three big stripes, the red, white.
Yeah. That's not like that no more?
No, they
what?
Small group of people several years ago were offended because they had that Confederate stars and bars in the corner. So the politicians put it to a vote. Statewide, it was on the ballot, keep the flag or get rid of the flag. Well, we voted to keep the flag. And then, rocked along a few years later, same thing, same issue came up again. So they put it on the ballot again. And the people voted to keep the flag.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about, 10, 15-year period. This was going on. They voted on it, and about 5 years later, it rose its little head again. So we voted again. And then about 5 years after that, it came up again. But this time they said, we're changing the flag. Here are the three options. You get to vote on which one you want. And the old flag was not one of the options. So they forced a change after the people had done voted twice to keep the flag. So now you'll see in Mississippi, you'll see a lot of people flying the old flag because they still feel like that's our state flag.
Yeah.
And then you see all the government offices have this corny looking new flag that they've got. I don't know. I just think we got caught up in being too politically correct. You know, you have a small group of people that's quote offended by something, so then we have to
Mhm.
change it.
So we have to cater to the minority, the less than
Exactly.
1%.
Exactly.
Because we
And
don't
there,
want to offend anybody.
and there was nothing
Oh my
wrong with our
goodness.
flag. There's nothing racist about it.
It's not about racism. The whole
Most,
Confederate flag isn't even about racism. Has nothing to do with racism.
I've
it
known
didn't.
black guys with a Confederate flag on
Yeah.
their vehicle.
That's because they understand what it's about. It's about freedom.
We all get along, and always have. You know, it's just I don't want to go there because I know we got a big audience and it would open a can of worms. I don't like doing that. But anyhow, I'm just bringing the point up. It was voted on twice. It was voted to be kept. They changed it anyway. So now you see in most people's yards, you see the old flag if they're flying one. And the only place you see the new flag is on government offices.
Yeah, Sweet Yankee Bell said it best.
Yeah, it's just a name.
Yeah. And guess what? If it's at the state level and you don't like it, you can leave and go to Tennessee.
I was going to say earlier, if I was going to pull for an SEC team now, it would be Tennessee. I love Tennessee, man.
Tennessee's good. And you know what I like about it? It's not because I'm here. We studied Tennessee before we made the move. The people are so nice.
Yeah, yeah.
The old school people, pre-COVID people.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful state. It's nice. They have common sense policies. Guess what? They're not like Florida. They enforce law here. It's just a happy place. It's a good place to be. And when they interview the players,
when I meet people from Tennessee, I'll ask them what the 3 stars mean on the flag. So I'll throw that at you. Do you know what the 3 stars mean?
it stands for there's 2 things they really stand for. It stands for the 3 different regions of Tennessee. You got East, Central, and West.
Yep.
And that's what it stands for. And then the capital inside of each region is Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis. So that's what the stars stand for.
I looked it up one time because I think the flag looks really cool. So I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
So now I ask people when I meet them from Tennessee, and you'd be surprised at how many people from Tennessee have no idea what the 3 stars are. Some people do. A lot of them don't. I don't know. Never thought about it.
It stands for the 3 distinct regions:
right,
the mountainous region, the South
East,
Central
West,
Plateau, and then the Western Mississippi region. Yep.
That's kind of like people who go to Six Flags and don't know what Six Flags means. Do you know why Six Flags is called that?
I'm thinking, didn't they have 6 different parks?
No.
I've heard before what it meant, but
I think it goes to countries, doesn't it?
You're close. It stands for the Six Flags of Texas, the 6 flags that flew over Texas. You have the French, the Spanish, the Mexican, the Texas Republican flag, the U.S. flag, and there's one I'm missing. But yeah, there were 6 flags flown over Texas.
Okay, cool. See, I didn't know.
And if you go to a Six Flags park, they'll fly all 6 flags.
Yep.
So what about out there in California? Do they have anything unique about their flag? It's not a rainbow, is it?
No, it's got
it's the bear,
a grizzly.
It's a bear.
Yeah, and there's no more grizzlies in California. There's actually people trying to talk.
Got to change the flag.
Well, there's people trying to talk them into reintroducing grizzlies back in California, and it's like, oh yeah, that's good. They eat people. With all these liberal women who, they see a pit bull that's been, tossed out on the road, and they're like, oh, I'm going to bring them home. They'll do the same thing with these grizzlies, and yeah, it's not going to end up well.
But what kind of caught me as being a volunteer fan is when they've interviewed some of the players, they're not like most teams that you play. Oh, yeah, we played a great game and hard work and we do this and, I'm the bomb and I this and I that. They didn't do that. First thing they do is they thank God. They thank their teammates. They thank their coaches first. And that just appealed to me. I like the humility.
No, sir. Yes, ma'am.
The humility of the players that did this great thing, and they bring it down to a level. Look, it's just a game. We had a good game. I thank God I had the opportunity. I thank my teammates who got me here. That's how you're supposed to be, and that just stuck with me. I never had that sense of of humanity, of good humanity in Florida. I just didn't. That wasn't my experience. It was me, I, cut you off, flip you off for no reason. I mean, I just didn't have that in Florida. I never got that. Lack of law enforcement, just maybe I just lived in a scummy part of Florida and didn't get out and see the rest of the state that much. But I just didn't like it. I wouldn't live there. I'd visit, but don't want to live there.
You can stay up on your mountain and play your banjo and nobody messes with you.
Yeah. I
I
could
looked
be
up-
off my porch.
The flag over Texas I was missing was the Confederate flag.
Oh,
Well,
did it
that
still
one-
fly that one?
You still see it. You'll still see it here, not like in the city here of Tullahoma, but if you start getting on I-24, in fact, if you get on I-24, it's the highway that goes between Chattanooga and Nashville. If you get on that road going toward Nashville, you'll see a sign, a couple of them actually. It says, "This is your sign to remind you you need more guns and ammo." Here's your sign for more guns and ammo all the way up there.
I've always loved that flag. I really do. I think it's a beautiful flag. And to me,
Yeah.
it represented the South, just the good things about the South, you know,
Yeah.
nice people, politeness, apple pie, fried chicken, you know, just the South. If you're from the South, then that's kind of your flag. The politicians and the media over time really gave that flag the name that it's gotten, the bad name. There were some outskirt groups that used it in the wrong way, but for the most part,
Right.
people in the South just thought it represented the South, the good stuff about the South, not the racial stuff. But anyway, I don't know.
Right. No, I'm very happy here. I mean, I can't think of any reason that I don't like it here. The weather is temperate. You get a little bit of winter, you get a little bit of summer, but neither extreme is very long or very extreme. Most of it's right there in the middle. Like today, I think it's cooler because of the rain, but we're in the 50s. That's moderate. It's comfortable. I like it. I don't know. I can't think of anything negative. Anywhere you go, any store you go in, expect someone to be holding a door open for you. That didn't happen in Florida.
Yeah.
1 in 10 people would hold a door. Now, I'm not expecting that, and I hold the door for the next person. But you hear a whole lot of that. There's a little Facebook group called Tullahoma Talk, and you'll learn about a town just reading some of the threads in there. But someone looking for a job. Hey, I'm looking for a job, and I'm a clerk background. And in Florida, they would say ugly things to that person, right? But here, they're actually helpful. Try this place, try this place, try this place. And there won't be a hateful thing anywhere in the thread. That's nice. That's people being nice. She's asking for help, and they're giving it. They're not giving sarcasm. They're not giving belligerence. They're not talking them down. They're not talking crap about them. It's just very different here. And I like it.
Maybe we better stop giving our secrets away. We'll have people from all over the country moving here, ruin our good stuff.
There's going to be good people everywhere. And there's going to be, I'm sure there's pockets of good people in Florida as well. But that just wasn't my experience in that town that I was. And it wasn't my experience in Chiefland. And when I did occasionally go into Gainesville, that wasn't my experience there either. So those three places is kind of where I spent most of my time. And I can't say anything positive about it. In Gainesville, they'll fight over a parking spot just to go in the store and walk a mile. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me.
I saw that. I saw Marines fight over a parking space to go inside and jump on a treadmill.
Yeah. I just did a pet peeves video on Friday. And one of mine is not returning shopping carts. How many people circle the parking lot in Walmart to get close to the door? They go in, they walk a mile because those stores aren't small, they're big. You'll walk a mile, push the cart all the way out to your car, load it, and be too lazy to put the cart in the carousel. That irks me. And they'll be parked right next to it and won't put it in there. I don't get it.
Yeah. You know, they got so many of them out there. I know ours does anyway. No matter where you park, there's one relatively close by to carry your cart to, to push your cart to. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say push your buggy to. We call them buggies down So, you know, it's a place close enough. It's just a few feet to push your buggy and put it away properly. But yeah, you're right. A lot of people will leave it right there where they're at.
I've heard buggy too. I think it was one of our viewers from Australia. I think they say buggy also.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's an old term. I ain't heard that in a while.
Yeah. It's kind of mixed down here now. But when I was a kid, everybody called it a buggy. You know, now it's kind of mixed. You know, half and half. You know, some people say cart, some people say
I don't
buggy.
know what they call it here because I haven't
But I like
actually
to say
heard
buggy.
anyone say it.
Just I'm holding on to our old traditions.
Yeah.
My grandson lives over in New Orleans. That's where my daughter's at. And the first time he heard me say it, he said, "Pop, well, it's a cart. It's not a buggy." So I'll say it just to aggravate him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I do that here with all the Californians. I'll be like, we'll go out to dinner and I'll be like, I think I'm going to have some of these tacos.
Steakhouse.
Tacos instead of tacos.
Oh, because, you know, they all then, whenever they're ordering food, Mexican food, they do it, you know, in the over the top Spanish and roll their R's. And it's like, dude, you grew up in the valley.
Yeah.
Spanish is not your first language.
So I've learned a little bit of Spanish. You know, we go down there so much. I know just enough. I can ask where the restroom's at, or, you know, I can get by. But it's fun. I got a funny story here. You'll love this. I've got a niece that's over in Texas where my brother was living, and she married a young man of Mexican descent. His father immigrated over, and anyhow, the first time we were going to be around them for any length of time, I told the guy, I said, "Well, good, you can help me, you know, work on my Spanish." He said, "I don't know Spanish." I'm like, "You're kidding." He said, "No." He said, "My dad told me we're in America. We speak English. If you want to learn Spanish, go back to Mexico." Did not teach them kids Spanish. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was to the point we were on a cruise together, and you know, some of them were sitting around playing Uno. And he comes walking by, and he's got such a sense of humor. He looked over at him. He said, "What are y'all playing? One?" He wouldn't even say Uno.
That's funny. Oh, guess what all the talk is
Super
here?
good guy. What?
In two towns outside of Nashville. One's in Antioch on the east side of Nashville, and one is, I can't remember the name of it, just south of Nashville, Lebanon, Tennessee. We got an In-N-Out burger.
Oh, you're getting corporate In-N-Out burger too.
Yeah. Read about it, getting familiar with the menu, read their history. Haven't been there yet because the lines are around the building twice.
Everyone's like, it's so amazing. It's okay. It's a
Really?
burger. Like, to me, Whataburger and Five Guys way better.
What?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be high quality stuff. Like
it's good quality meat, but it really, for what you get, it's overpriced, and it's definitely, in my opinion, not worth the wait. And there's always
I think that's everywhere, but I do need to try one. They got one near us, so
it's no
you need to
Chick-fil-A.
check it out.
We don't have them here, but I have tried them in Texas, and I want to say, isn't it like an offshoot of Hardee's? It was real similar to Hardee's.
No, it's its own thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't kind of modeled. The burgers and fries and stuff are real similar to what Hardee's has. If I'm thinking right,
they're very basic, very basic. Like you can have them add stuff, but it's a very basic burger. To me, the fries are not that good. Like for Whataburger and Five Guys, the fries were absolutely way better. They do like the really thin, crispy fries.
yeah.
Sweet Yankee Bell agrees with you. I have high hopes, so I am going to try it, and then I'll come back with what I think.
So Diane says fast food joints
review it.
is called window food.
Maybe I'll do a video on it.
Yeah, Hardee's is Carl Jr.
I'm thinking about Carl Jr. That's what I'm thinking about. Good.
Yeah.
Somebody straighten me out there.
When you get
Now,
to the
is
West
it
Coast
true?
and Alaska, it's Carl's Jr. Yeah.
Is it true? I'll ask you guys this because I saw something that it was somewhere. It was a military base that would not let their people go eat while in uniform. They couldn't get out of their vehicle or something, and that's what started the whole drive
Yep.
and window thing. Is that true? I don't know.
Absolutely true. It was Fort Huachuca in Arizona. And Marines still, we're not allowed to wear camouflage utilities off base. It's not allowed.
Right. So
Unless
somebody
you're
came up with the idea
under-
to drive up windows so they could do it from their car and not have to get out of their vehicle, and they wouldn't be breaking the rule. And that's what started the whole drive-through stuff. I don't know.
Sonic
what-
is pretty popular here, but was not as popular in Florida. They were struggling in Florida. I don't know why it's different, but here they have two in Tullahoma, and they're both always full.
I do like Sonic's Dirty Dr. Pepper.
I hate
Really?
they did away with the tray that they used to hang on the window.
I don't think they do
Um,
that anymore. No.
I know they don't. That's what I'm saying. I hate they did away with that.
Oh yeah,
That used to be the whole thing. They brought it on a tray and it hung on your
yeah,
window.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
they don't do that anymore.
Next
Probably-
weekend, we're talking about going to the McDonald's Museum, which is in Downey, California.
Oh,
So that'll be interesting. But
do a video.
what's
Yeah.
funny is when I was still in, they broke the Marine Corps up into areas, and now you had an area commander that kind of like, and they just kind of wrote policy. And what they did was they told us, you have to drive on these certain routes, and you have to come down to Camp Pendleton for stuff. And that, that's a 3-hour drive from up here in 29 Palms. So, all the Marines, like if you had to go down to Camp Pendleton, it was like, that was your whole day. You weren't going to be able to do anything else. And so we were like, okay, here's what we're, like, I looked at the map and I was like, you realize what they just did? And they were like, no, what? And I go, now they're making us take this route and you have to stop for chow on the way. I go, the only place over there is Hooters. I go, so you can wear your camis because you're on duty and you're on official business. You can go into a restaurant in your camis under those conditions. I go, if I were you guys, I'd start stopping. And so that's what my Marines started doing. They started going to Hooters and like they're taking pictures of themselves, the waitresses.
Throw
Next
us in
thing
that
you know, they're
route.
like, they changed the route again to where you didn't go by Hooters. And they're like, hey, they came to me, they're like, sir, we can't go to Hooters anymore because this. I was like, you know what you're going by now? And they're like, no, what? And I'm like, a casino. There's a casino on that route. Go to the casino. So then they're going to the all-you-can-eat buffet at the casino in uniform.
I remember in the old days you couldn't wear your BDUs out off the base, but I don't think there was any restrictions on that later on. You're supposed to act a certain way because you're always an ambassador of the United States military when you're in uniform. Doesn't matter what uniform, doesn't matter where you are. So you always got to keep that in mind. So I think picking Hooters was in poor taste. I don't think that's good to do
Sounds
that.
like Skipper would have made a good warrant officer. I like the way he thinks.
Yeah,
For me,
kind
it
of
was,
a rebellious officer.
Yeah.
for me, it
Yeah.
was we're the ones driving these routes. We know what's best for our vehicles and the best for the time. But this was people saying, no, you can't take these routes. You have to take these pre-approved routes, which like for the one at Hooters, it was taking us to 215, which is always backed up. So a 3-hour trip was now going to take at least 4 hours. So I was like, yeah, start stopping at Hooters. Eventually they'll get tired of it. And they did. And then, yeah, and eventually that whole, you can only take these routes, it eventually went away because of the Marines going into the chow places in their uniforms.
Yeah, that's a thing about command. A lot of time the overreach. They way overreached a lot of times over just simple things like that. Instead of telling you to go from point A to point B and let you figure out how to get there, they would, reach down to even tell you the route you had to take,
I'm a big fan of malicious compliance.
Yeah.
Gee,
I see.
I would have never guessed.
Oh, that was good.
Nancy said Nancy says she thinks local restaurants or a pub would make a better burger, and she's probably right. I know
Oh,
there
yeah,
in
100%.
Cleveland, Ralph's Burger was one of the best burgers. Now, when their prices went up, we didn't stop in there as much, but it was a drive-through burger place. Drive-through, it had two lines, so in and out, and it's only a drive-through. There is no dine-in,
Yeah.
but they had limited menu, so I like that. I don't like a million choices. But
And
I thought their burgers were awesome. I thought they were
usually
fabulous
only
and fair price. And
only the locals know where those places are at, though. You know, that's one thing I got to say, that when I'm traveling, when I see the Golden Arches or I see the Burger King, I mean, I know what I'm going to get there. You know, I prefer Burger King. So when I'm traveling, I don't know where all those little mom and pop places are, which 100% they're going to have a better burger, but I just don't know where they're at. So when I'm traveling, I like to pull into the thing where I know what I'm going to get, whether it's a Waffle House or Burger King or, you know.
yeah, now I like a Waffle House. Now I'm a budget guy. I will
That's my favorite.
sacrifice. I will sacrifice for a good deal or a good price. So I like Wendy's for my fast food, and I like the $5 biggie bag. Sometimes it's a $6 biggie bag, but I think that's your best deal.
Yeah.
You're getting a drink, you're getting nuggets, you're getting a sandwich and fries for $5. You can't beat. Then what else? I've kind of lost my track. But you mentioned the
Waffle
other
House.
place,
Waffle
Waffle
House.
House. Yes, Waffle House. You can get a
That's-
lot for your money there, and you'll leave full, and you won't eat two meals. So if
That's
you eat a
my
late breakfast, you're good till dinner.
I always say, if you don't have a Waffle House where you live, you need to move.
Yep,
There's-
we got one here. Tullahoma, for the size town that it is, I think it only has around 20,000 people. But we've got a Publix, and you got to drive an hour to get to a Publix, except for that one. So you got the Publix. We got a great credit union here called Ascend Federal Credit Union. They're awesome. They pay a high interest rate on a regular checking account. And no, I'm not an advocate for them. I just like their terms, and I've gotten good service there. I think it's a great place to bank if you're going to bank. It's not really a bank. Aldi's. We have an Aldi's. We have a Panera Bread that's coming in. We have an Ace Hardware that's coming in. Supposed to open here in the next month or so. I think Panera is a little hoity-toity for this area. I don't know that it's going to make it. There's a lot of Mexican restaurants here. There's a lot of pizza restaurants here. But we have a Lowe's. In the other direction, Winchester, 10 miles, you have a Home Depot, but it's the smaller one, the smaller version. I mean, you have everything. I'm in a rural area, okay? But I'm 10 minutes from anything that I need in a box store. And I don't have to live in it to have access to it. I don't pay any city tax here. It's just county tax, and it's one of the lowest county taxes in the state. So that was an attraction to this area. I'm near a base. I can use the commissary. They have a fitness center, but they don't have much else. It's very small base. They do wind tunnel testing for NASA, for the military, and for other agencies, I'm sure, as well. So when they moved, I'm kind of getting off topic, I guess, but when they moved that space headquarters out of Colorado and they're putting it down in Huntsville, that's huge here. That's only an hour away. All of our local stations come out of Huntsville, Alabama. So it's closer to go to Huntsville than Nashville. So I just thought that was interesting, that this is a neat little hub and be rural and still have access to all these little things. And of course, you got the Jack Daniels distillery right here, 10 minutes away to the west. I mean, you go in any direction and you got something that's unique there that's not in the other places. I think that's neat.
You mentioned something, and this is something I learned from my business partner, and he told me this story about his mentor. His mentor, and Brett, you'll probably know what he's talking about. He was a member of the Wainwright Alaska Credit Union, I believe was the name.
Yes.
And he said it was a
too.
real small thing. And
It is.
when he started getting into business, his mentor was like, "Oh, I've been dealing with them for 30 years and I'll never change." And he was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, you're doing business with these big banks." He goes, "You're just a number to them." He goes, "I know all these people. I know the bank president. I know all the tellers." He's like, "But you live in Kansas City." And he goes, I lived in Alaska for like a year. He goes, "They're all on my Christmas list. I go up there every couple years, drop in, say hello. And he goes, here's why I do that. He goes, whenever I need a business loan or whenever I need, any type of money or anything, I call
Mhm.
them up and it's, hey Jill, it's Frank. I need
Yeah.
I need this and I need good rates. He goes, they never run my credit score. They never ask me about how much I'm making. They're like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we can do that for you at this price. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and send me the paperwork and do it. And he goes, it is that easy. He goes, that's why I
Yes.
only deal with small credit unions and small banks. I don't deal
And
with the
here,
big ones.
and here's a little tip that maybe your viewers don't know. I know this specific Fort Wainwright Credit Union. They have a branch on the base. That it wasn't an old building. The nicer one is off the base, and then they might have one in North Pole at the Safeway. I can't remember if they switched that over or not. But you can share branch. So when I moved to Florida from Alaska and I had to open up a business, I used Campus USA Federal Credit Union initially because I could walk into that branch in Florida and I'm walking into Fort Wainwright Credit Union because they share branch. Share branching means I can walk into this bank but be acting as I'm in that bank. And so I loved it for that. Now I later changed and opened up a bank at what is now called Seacoast Bank. Don't like them. It was Drummond Community Bank, and that's who, it was the same principle of what you just described. I could walk in, I could talk to the guy I knew by first name, and when we refinanced the structure of the loan from the credit union, I mean from the campground, and added the modular home, I put more money down and then added that and kept it all under one loan. He did that by going to his board members and pitching it and then getting their approval and then doing it. So a community bank can do more for you as a small business owner than can a big corporate bank. Now they got bought out by a corporate bank and I don't care for them. But I still got some banking down there, but I've moved most of it up here to a local Ascend Federal Credit Union. I like, but my story was the same as that, what you just shared, the personal touch and the ease of doing business. I had that there with the old Drummond Bank in Chiefland.
He recommends that. I'll tell everyone, when we started our business thing, because my business partner doesn't live anywhere near here, we chose to go through Navy Federal Credit Union. And
I've heard good things about them too. Yeah.
they're good. Here's why we picked them though. It had nothing to do with any of their programs or anything. It had to do with this. If they have a contract with Walgreens, if you go into any Walgreens, the ATM that's in Walgreens is a Navy Federal Credit Union. So for me and my business partner, him being in Texas, me out here, us being able to withdraw money and deposit money, not having a branch nearby, we can do it through Walgreens. And that's why we chose that.
That's a good reason.
Is that nationwide? Do they have all the Walgreens nationwide?
Nationwide and Navy Federal, much more than like I personally bank with USAA and Marine Credit Union. Unlike those two, they have a lot overseas as well. So when I was in Abu Dhabi, there wasn't a lot there, but I could go to Dubai, which Dubai is like a 30-minute drive. And there were ATMs and I believe one branch of Navy Federal Credit Union in Abu Dhabi, or I'm sorry, in Dubai. So I was able to still be able to do my banking. I would have to like, okay, I know I'm going to Dubai on Thursday, so I'll wait and do all my banking then.
Yeah, I'm like Brett. I've never used Navy Federal, but I knew they were big, and I've heard a lot of good talk about them. I know a lot of people that use them. I'm like you. I use USAA, and then we're right here next to Keesler, so we use Keesler Freddie.
I've got USAA credit card as well, and I think I have an account with them too. Yeah.
I bank with one personally and one for my. Well, I have a personal account with Navy Federal, but I do my business banking primarily through them.
Now, who do you do your property insurance with, like your vehicle and your home?
So I have to have hazard insurance here. That
Mm.
I do through USAA, but
Oh.
for my homeowner's insurance, it's not USAA pulled out of California, but they do have a like a
Underwriter.
small like place. Because here's the thing, California here, so many like State Farm, I think Geico, they've pulled out of home insurance here in California because there's so many risks and so much money they have to pay out. So getting home insurance was a big issue for me when I bought this home. And but I was able to find one. And the rates are decent. I'm not unhappy with it.
I
But
don't
it's
like that USAA uses underwriters for everything. Like if you have a motorhome or a boat, they're all underwritten by Foremost or somebody else. And so you're
Mhm.
dealing with all these. I don't like that. So I ended up using Erie Insurance, and they are my insurance provider for my home, my motorhome, motorcycle, my boat, all of it is under one insurance company. And I like that a lot. I have an agent that's local, and they did good with my roof repair, and I'm happy with them. I have nothing bad to say about Erie Insurance.
I've got most of my insurance through USAA, but I did find over the years that on like your homeowners, they're in line with everybody. It wasn't,
Yeah.
anything super great about them, but they were easy to work with. A lot
What
of
I
people
like
don't realize that, Geico is Government Employees Insurance Company. That's what Geico stands for. They used to handle all the enlisted, and then eventually USAA decided, I guess, to take it all. But when that happened and Geico lost that, that's when you started seeing the commercials and the little gecko and all of that. But yeah, that's what GEICO stands for, is Government Employees Insurance Company. Look, guys, I'm kind of muting my microphone because the TV got turned on in there. So when I'm not talking, I'm muting my mic.
we
We're probably watching the Vols game.
what I do like about USAA is I've gone to them for financial advice on stuff, and they've given me very solid advice about stuff that, they could have said, "Oh, no, we have a package for that." But they've been like, "Oh, yeah, here, email me what you're talking about." And I sent it to them, and then they said, "Here's what's good about it. Here's what's bad about it. Here's where it's better than our plan. Here's where it's worse than our plan." So they earned a lot of trust with me for that.
Yeah, that's another thing I like about them is they're just hourly paid employees. They're not on commission, so they don't care whether they sell you something or not. So they don't try to push anything on you. They just give you the information, and then you make the decision of what you want to do. I kind of like that too.
I like that too. Yeah. Well, hey guys, I think I'm gonna get off here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this because I've been on here quite enough. I'm glad you guys could join me this morning.
Hey, thanks for the invite. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite, Mike.
Now I can save this video and I can tell people, see, I know people. I know some really good people,
Keep the link because I don't really change the link.
I don't either.
The link, and you guys, if you ever want to jump in, just jump in.
All right.
Okay.
It's good to me. Thanks for inviting me, Brett. Good talking to you.
Yeah, likewise, Larry. Good talking to you. And thanks for
Skipper,
the
I
invite,
still
Mike.
need to talk with you one of these days. Give me a phone call.
We do.
Sure.
We do. You've been on my list. I just every day. when I'm at
Evidently,
work-
I'm way down the list. I see now. Okay, I got you.
I've got ADHD, and it's like squirrel. That's how I am.
Not, it's not, it's not critical. Just whenever you get a chance, give me a call.
No worries.
See you, Brett.
Hey,
guys.
Shoreline the Driveway. Check us out. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We release at 2 Eastern.
I'll
Yep,
subscribe today. I wasn't aware of it. I'll subscribe today.
I did send you the link, Larry, so it's in Facebook for you. And
Okay.
I'm going to post the link right here for everyone. So make sure you subscribe to Brett's channel.
And
Thank you.
everybody in the chat, bye, y'all. It's good seeing y'all in the chat. Glad y'all.
Yep, good seeing you all. And I don't know about Alabama being the capital of football. I think it's Tennessee is in the center,
I don't
geographic
know.
center. You got Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama. Tennessee, baby.
That's the problem with Alabama, though. Everywhere you go there, you're trying to walk around and you're tripping over all these championship trophies. They're just laying everywhere. I mean,
Well,
Alabama
yeah,
looked
okay.
worse against Indiana than what Oregon did last night. So
I'll give some kudos to the Alabama football team, but you know what? That's all they got. That's all they got. That's it. That's all they got.
They got Mother Rucker. I love Mother Rucker.
Yeah, that's nice. Yep.
Okay, bye, you guys. See y'all.
Yeah. Bye, you guys. Thanks, Mike. See you, Larry,
Yep,
and thanks, chat. You guys have a great day, and we'll check you later on Shoreline the Driveway.
make sure you subscribe to both Brett and Larry's channels. Thank you to both Larry and Brett for joining me this morning. And yeah, this has been a fun one. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.
Coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakening at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.